Welcome. Have people joining us on Zoom. So I often get asked about how the Phoenix came to be, why a church would take on a derelict building and do all the things we do. So let me start at the beginning. So in 1991, a small group of families who were going to a church in Alexandria felt called to plant a fresh expression of church here in Dumbarton. So they started to meet, and over the course of a few years started to grow and had to work out a name. So they called themselves Rock Community Church. So rock, a biblical reference to God being our rock, but also a recognition of people in Dumbarton being sons and daughters of the rock, and wanting to be a church for Dumbarton. And then this word community in our name, and wanting our DNA to be about community, not to be just an institution, but something that had real community at the heart of it. So we met in various community spaces down the years. Started off in Westbridge Hall, that's no longer there, but met in the Borough Hall for a bit, in Denny Civic Theatre, the Concord Centre, Dumbarton Academy. And we never wanted to have a building for ourselves. Having a building's a bit of a hassle. But we always said possibly down the line we might get a building if it allows us to do a bunch of community-based things, if it allows us to do some of the things we would like to do. So fast forwarding 25 years, having our 25th anniversary in 2016, we spent a lot of time looking back at what we'd done as a church community and the bits and pieces we've been involved in here in the town. But also looking ahead and asking, what does the next 25 years look like? What does it mean for us to have that DNA of community at the very heart of what we do? So while that was going on, I live in Castle Hill, and every day walking my kids to school at derelict, I'd walk past this derelict building. And it just got me dreaming and wondering and asking that question of, what could you do with a building like that? So a while before that, the head of West Dunbartonshire Council had a meeting with all the local clergy. She was just talking about how she could see the value that churches could bring to supporting the community. So I thought, why not just ask the question? So I emailed her late one night. She phoned me back 8:30 the next morning. I was still wrapped in a towel, just got out the shower, having a phone call with the head of the council. She was really excited and put me in touch with the right people at the council to get the ball rolling. What then followed was a few things, a bit of feasibility study, kind of being in the building, looking around, getting some reports done, trying to work out what work the building needed and whether it was even possible. So we were doing that. We were also having a lot of conversations with the community, whether that was online questionnaires, whether that was chapping doors and just having one-to-one conversations, chatting to local parent councils, to local head teachers, to elected officials, to anyone that had a connection with this area. But giving people a few questions. One, did they want to see the building reopen? Two, what would they like to see happening here? And three, what could they maybe bring? That we didn't want this just to be us coming in, but a real partnership approach to what we were doing. So what was really clear was people wanted somewhere that people could gather within this community. Obviously, Our Lady in St Pat's High School was moving. My kids used to go to clubs there. The activity centre up in Bruce Hill was changing. This place had sat empty for a good few years. People wanted somewhere where they could meet each other, somewhere that kids could have something to do in the area, somewhere where the elderly and isolated could gather as well. So we started to then build together some ideas. So we had to work out a lease with the council. We took on a 10-year lease on the building. We had to get a bunch of funding in place to be able to do the work on the building and to fund a bunch of the initial projects. And then we also just rolled up our sleeves and did a lot of work. A bunch of us were in here, it felt like all day, every day for months and months, scraping wallpaper, painting things, fixing things, calling in loads of favours, people's generosity astounded us. So the coffee machine that's in the cafe, the dishwasher that's in there, the chair I'm sat on, the tables in the cafe were all gifted from various different places. We loved when folk just stuck their head in and told us stories about what the building used to mean to them. So Saturday 24th of November 2018, we reopened the doors and we had a big fun day. Loads of people came in. We had the cafe open, stuff in the back garden, stuff in the main hall here. And since then, we've just run our activities program. Hundreds of kids have come to youth club. We've had toddler groups. The cafe's been a place where people have found real community. And it's just allowed us to create a community hub for Dumbarton West, a place that people can grow and develop, where community can happen, where people can come together. So that's been the vision for the Phoenix. We've tried to build it around the things people have been asking for, the things that are important here to local people, but also, I guess, like the ancient Phoenix, that sense of something that had died and coming back to life. That we want to see Dumbarton West as a vibrant community where there's loads of good things happening, and we hope the Phoenix can be part of that.